Hello and welcome back to the Adric cast. I'm Gregor,
And I'm Janey.
and I'm going to start off the podcast today by asking you a really important question, Janie.
Mm.
Do you ever dream of being an ambulance?
um, I don't think I've ever had that dream, but I know it's a very common one.
I've never had it either.
Have you not?
Um, I've had a dream where I was a fire engine. Uh,
Wait,
that was
have
a
you
good. That was a
actually?
good. No, being a fire engine's fucking awesome. You can just you're big, you're red. You don't have to respect the rules of the road. You know.
No. Oh, God. What a line. What a line.
Is a lie, that stuck with me. Uh, this week we're gonna talk about I've dropped something. This week we're gonna talk about The Legend of Ruby Sunday,
Yes.
part 1 of the epic two-part finale of season 1 slash series
Mhm.
14 slash season 40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um,
That one.
so as always, I'm gonna ask you your sort of overall
Oh,
feelings towards this episode.
well. I kind of feel like it was a bit of a fever dream because I don't
Mhm.
believe it happened.
You don't
So,
believe it's happened,
no, I don't really I think I'm in a dream because I did not expect this.
but you're not an ambulance in the dream.
Not yet.
Gotcha.
Um, I'm actually a portrait at the moment.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
not that,
that's who I'm being this week.
I'm a hiker
Are
this
you?
bit. Yeah.
Nice. Um, yeah, I thought it was I thought it was amazing. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Best of the series so far, in my opinion.
Nice. Nice. I think I enjoyed it as well.
You think you enjoyed it?
I believe I found it to be suitable entertainment.
There just
That's the
weren't enough
kind of
lines
quote you
about
want on their papers,
ambulances.
isn't it? There just weren't enough lines about ambulances, really, yeah. We'll talk about The Legend of Ruby Sunday in a bit of detail, but first we've got the news.
Mm,
Um So the big news story this week is the Celestial Toymaker animation is out on home
yeah,
media.
mhm.
Have you watched it?
I haven't.
You haven't
Sorry. I've prepared so well for this episode. I haven't, no. I
I
haven't
th-
yet.
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 You might pick it up.
I probably
It should be a
will,
top.
but just in my own time, please.
Yeah. I got it last week.
Have you watched
Uh, I have.
and?
It's pretty good.
Good.
I was worried it was going to be a bit because the story has a bit of a reputation for being a bit
Yes.
tedious
Mm,
and a bit naff.
mm,
But with the animation, they've taken a lot of creative liberty with how things look.
yeah.
So, like in the original story, when they're playing games, it would just be some cheap foam props in a black room.
Mm,
But now they've got all this like mad psychedelic stuff going on, and all the characters are like actual toys, like talking dolls and
nice.
clockwork people and stuff, instead of out of work Shakespeare
Mm.
company actors in fancy dress costumes, you know,
I
so
think Shakespeare company actors is very, very generous.
maybe so.
Oh, nice. I'll have to
Yeah,
pick
it's a
it
good one.
up.
Mhm. I recommend it. Uh,
Good.
um, and also I recommend there's a video which came out about the toy maker. Turns out, like, the whole behind the scenes of that story is just wild.
Oh,
Like, no one's sure exactly who wrote it or who added what, and it's kind of fascinating to learn about.
interesting.
It's very interesting. There's a bit of it on the DVD, but there's also a video. Have you ever seen the Terry Nation Army stuff?
No. Nice.
So Gavin Rymel, the mind robber who does, like, loads of CGI models
Mm,
for official Doctor Who and all that,
mhm.
he has this little YouTube series he does where he, like, looks at behind the scenes stuff for Doctor Who and
Ah,
solves mysteries and things like that. A lot of it revolves around Daleks
mhm,
and, like, Dalek props and things, but he's done other stuff as well. He did a really cool one about some location footage from Talons of Wangchang where no one was sure exactly where they filmed it,
mm,
and because the whole, like, area they filmed it in has been totally redeveloped. It's like the London
mm,
Docklands, and he managed to pinpoint the exact spot where they had, like, put the TARDIS prop and everything, even though it looks totally different.
mm.
It's fascinating stuff. His videos
Interesting,
are good,
yeah.
and if you have an interest in behind the scenes Doctor
Mm,
Who, definitely recommend his stuff.
yeah. Nice.
But, yeah, so Toymaker's out. Talking about behind the scenes stuff, actually, another piece of
Oh,
news, you might have picked up
mhm.
on this, you might not have, is an original Dalek prop from Doctor Who and the Daleks has been unearthed
Oh,
and restored to its original condition. For a long
interesting.
time, no one was
Okay.
sure if any of the Daleks from that production were still about, most of them probably been thrown in a skip decades ago.
Mm,
But there's one, and it's been recently
nice.
restored. It's looking good. I don't know if it's gonna end up in, like, a museum or something, or if it's gonna be, like,
How
a
did that
private
come
collection.
about then? What are the facts? Give me some facts.
Um,
Where was it?
some
Who
facts.
had it?
So it was in a private collection.
Mhm.
It used to be owned by a charity. Uh,
Mm,
the last official, like, sighting of it or whatever was in the '90s, and it was painted in a really ridiculous color scheme,
mm,
like, white with red globes and a blue dome and,
nice.
all the staff stuff. But it got bought by a private collector, and no one had known what had happened to it for about 30 years.
Mm,
But then it ended up in the hands of one of these fans who does, like, prop restorations and replicas and things,
mhm.
and he restored
Interesting.
it to its original condition, and he posted about it on Twitter and Facebook.
Mm,
Took some nice pictures of it.
nice.
It's not one of the hero ones,
Mm,
it's like a dummy, so it would have been one of the ones that, like, got thrown about by a Thal or whatever.
yeah, nice.
It's a cool bit of history that's been unearthed and stuff.
Yeah, no, that is
That's
cool.
fun. I hope it does end up in, like, a museum or something for fans
Mm,
to
that
go and
would
have a
be
look at.
nice. Yeah.
That would be nice. But yeah, a final bit of news is about books,
Oh, yes.
because they've relaunched the new series Adventures, and the first book is out now, Ruby
Mm.
Red. I think it's by Georgia Cook.
Oh, yes. I've seen that.
I miss those, like, 'cause
Mm.
used to have them for
We used
every
to have
series.
loads, yeah.
We had loads, but then they stopped with, in the middle of Jodie's era,
Mm.
so they stopped in 2018, which is a shame. I
Yeah.
have to admit that I hadn't bought any since Matt Smith's run,
I
'cause
don't think
I
I've
used to
bought
read a lot
anything
of them
since Tennant, to be honest.
since Tennant.
I had a lot
I
of
mean, they're
those
good for, like,
ones.
early reading, you
Mm.
know? Uh, Not that you shouldn't read them as an adult.
Yeah.
It's probably still the best I can handle as a book reader. Yeah. But, yeah, the first one, Ruby Red, is out now,
Nice.
um, and the audiobook's out, read by, I believe, alright, love, Millie Gibson.
Mm.
Oh, hiya, love. I butchered Millie.
Can you do it again?
Hiya, love.
You love. Oh, I was
You
gonna
do that.
memorize what she said this episode in Manchester-ish, and I was gonna say it. It's gonna be like, "Hey, love, where you from? You're from Manchester." Like that was awful. Ah. let's move on.
Well, the good news is it cut out, Jamie.
Oh, thank God for that. Oh, thank God. How much of it cut out?
Probably most.
All of Nice, good.
Well,
That's what we
I'll
like to
find out in
hear.
the edit,
Let's
but
move on, let's move on.
we'll keep that cutout in so people can
Yeah, nice.
see the near miss of the near miss.
Oh God.
But yeah, Ruby Red, I don't know. I might pick it
Mm.
up. We'll
Yeah, I
see.
think I will.
I have a yearning for those books
Mm.
again, so because I've been thinking about picking up a Capaldi one or something, uh, so I might do that. Because I think the last, like, proper one of those range that I bought was, the Matt Smith one with the Ice Warriors in, if that was part of that range.
Oh.
And that was over 10 years ago. That was, like, in
Mm.
fact, nearly 15 years ago, so have
It's
you got,
nice
like, a
feeling
favorite?
old, isn't it? It's nice feeling old.
It is nice
A
feeling old.
favourite. I read a lot of the Tennant ones,
Like, The Feast of the
but that's a long
Drowned
time ago.
or Resurrection Casket, Prisoner of the Daleks, you must have read that one.
Yeah, Prisoner of the
That's a
Daleks
good
I
one.
read. Um, Maybe Prisoner of the Daleks. There was a Matt Smith one that I read.
Was it the Weeping Angel one?
No, it was a thing about it was like a monster, and it was like oh, I'm trying to remember because this was so long ago. I feel so old. Um, I'm trying to remember actually what happened. I remember it was good, but I can't remember why.
Anyway, yeah, books are back. Moving
Mhm.
on to The Legend of Ruby Sunday.
Mm.
You get, starts off with, that shot from the trailer, isn't it, with,
Yeah.
TARDIS crashing into Unit HQ,
Mhm. Yeah.
and,
Love
"Give me the
that.
lovin'."
Oh my god. Oh
I said
god.
that
What
like
was
some
that?
sort of
Like a sort of
1970s rock.
70s sort of rock
Give it
guy.
lovin'.
Oh god. Oh god.
Mm.
Yeah, no, love that bit.
It's something only Shooty could really get away with. I can't imagine
Yeah.
Eccleston coming at the task being like, "Right, give me the lovin', lads."
Can you not?
No.
God. Oh god.
Um, a lot happens in that scene because there's so many characters knocking about.
Yeah.
It's a big ensemble of folk. Uh, we got Kate Stewart back.
Yeah.
Uh, you're a big Kate Stewart
I
stan, so
love and I love that whole scene, to be honest.
you love that whole scene.
I love that whole scene.
Nice. Rose,
Mhm.
Yasmin Finney, she's back as well in that scene. First time she shared the screen with Shooty's doctor,
Mhm.
but they seem to be quite well acquainted, so that's
Yeah.
nice. Uh, who else we got knocking about? We got Lenny Rush.
Yes.
He's funny in this episode.
He's very good.
A lot of people seem to be a bit unhappy about his character, uh, for 2 reasons. The first one's
Because at the
because he's that's one of the reasons, yeah, and then because
Yeah.
he's covering for Ruth Madley, who I guess just probably wasn't available to film this
Yeah, well, and I've
episode.
seen and, like, we know she's coming back because
She's
I'm
definitely
sure
in the next series, she's
yeah,
been
so,
seen on
like,
set and everything.
people, like, get over it. The age thing I kind of get in terms of the story because like, he's a 13-year-old working to start with, and, like,
Eh,
he's definitely gonna have a gun on him next episode, we've seen that, so it's sort of like,
well, he definitely isn't the first child genius to be employed by an organisation in Doctor Who. Uh
right.
Or in the
Who do you
Whoniverse,
mean?
because on my mind, there's the really pretentious kid who turned out to be the Slitheen in, Sarah Jane
Right,
Adventures.
yes. Mm,
He was a dick.
that's true.
Um, there's probably other ones off the top of my head. Ah, I don't know. I don't know if, like, if you're a particularly super intelligent kid, you could get, like, employed early, because the idea is that he's ridiculously smart,
Yeah.
uh, and he's got guns in his,
Yeah, I
little,
think
like,
that's the
Segway.
thing people need to have a problem with, the fact that you've got a 13-year-old who
We'll see how it
sorry,
goes next
that's
week,
the
because
issue. Yeah.
maybe he doesn't control the guns. Maybe there's, like, a little unit soldier with a remote control handling
Okay,
the
but
guns,
is
and he
that
just sits there.
worse? Is that worse? He
Well, not if
doesn't
it's for
even control them. It's just, "We're
self-defense.
just gonna use you as a gun."
Like, if he's about to get eaten by Sutekh and he hasn't, there's no way of protecting,
Well, okay, maybe, but
because he does work for an alien fighting
I think I
organization
would still
which
my first
regularly gets
port of
infiltrated.
call I think my first port of call would be like, "Get the kid here," rather than "Let the kid shoot it." Do you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
I think him and Mel should have swapped places at the end,
Oh, right.
and he should have been with the Doctor with Susan Twist, and then,
Right.
Mel should have fucking pulled out 2 pistols like Guns Akimbo.
Maybe she
Blasted
will.
Sutekh.
Maybe
Maybe
she
she
will.
will.
So what you're saying is, you think that the child should have been in the ever so slightly less dangerous situation,
Ever so slightly.
ever so slightly, like, still could die, but, like,
Mhm.
less so slightly.
But won't need to defend himself because Shooty's there.
Yeah.
You won't need guns because you got the Doctor with you,
Yeah,
I guess. It's a very minor gripe, um, ultimately,
Yeah.
when looking at it now. Uh, and we've really skipped ahead because we started talking about
Oh,
the
yeah, well,
stars of
we're at
the
the end now. Bye. Bye, everyone.
That's how it goes. It starts, it finishes.
See
There's nothing in the middle.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Do you think there's too many characters in the story?
No,
No, you think
I
you
don't
got a fair amount?
really. I think I'm happy with the amount of characters.
Uh, I'm not too sure myself because I feel mainly through Yasmin and Finney,
Mm,
through Rose, some of them are getting a little bit like side. There's just too much going on, and the characters don't all get their moments. I mean,
mhm.
it's two-parter, so maybe she'll get more to do in
Yeah.
the next part. I guess it's difficult reviewing two-parters like this. A lot of people have been so confused by them, or by this one, at least.
Right.
It's like people have forgotten how two-parters work.
Why have they got confused?
You've seen people being like, "I don't think there was enough, like, there wasn't a satisfactory ending to this story.
Oh, God.
Why didn't the baddie get defeated at the end?"
Oh, God. It literally says to be continued.
It's been a while since we've had a
It has
proper
been a
two-parter.
while.
I know we've had Flux, a couple of years ago,
Mm.
nearly 3 years ago. Oh, ouch.
Yes, thank you for
Uh,
that, Gregor.
though that in its own way was fairly, like, even though it was one big story and there were cliffhangers,
Mm.
it felt like things like the Sontarans got beaten in one episode and then they moved on to another thing,
And
and
then
then
they
they
weren't
moved on to the
beaten
Weeping
again all of a sudden.
Angels,
Yeah.
so it felt altogether a bit singular in a way. Uh,
Yeah.
and then the last proper two-parter, I suppose, would have been the Ascension of the Cybermen, Timeless Children in
Mm.
2020.
Brilliant episode.
Well, we can talk about that another time.
I want to talk
Uh,
about it now.
well, the point is it's been a while since it came out. It's been a while since two-parter, and everyone seems to have forgotten how they
Yeah,
work. Like, imagine if
yeah.
people were watching the Ascension of the Cybermen and, like, but why didn't the Cybermen get beaten at the at the end. Why haven't we found out about the timeless child yet and all this
God.
stuff? It feels like there's a lot of that going around, which
Mm,
I'm usually when people have criticisms, I'm like, "Okay, you didn't enjoy it, that's fine, you're entitled to that." But it's a dumb thing, it's a dumb criticism.
yeah, a little bit, a little
Imagine if
bit.
it was like this in a classic series.
Mm.
Every bloody week.
Yeah. Why hasn't this ended yet? 2 weeks later, why has it not ended?
The war games would have been a nightmare.
Oh god, can you imagine?
Like,
People would
Jesus,
have stopped watching. He'd
people
have
would
lost fans.
it would've. Um,
Ugh.
but yeah, I've lost track.
Mm.
Whoops.
I mean, we're still
Um,
only on the first scene.
well, we're talking about too many characters,
Yeah.
and you don't think there's too many,
I don't think so
and
because I think, like, it's a very unit-heavy episode, and we always had more characters in those episodes. So,
I don't mind having a big team of unit people. I suppose
yeah.
it's fun having like a unit family
Mm.
again. I'm sure it means we'll definitely be seeing Rose again, I think, beyond
Mhm.
the story,
Yeah.
Mel and all that.
Mhm.
We know Shirley Ann Bingham will be back in the next series, as we
Yeah.
said. And people do like these characters.
Mm.
So yeah, it's not a bad thing, I guess.
No.
And hopefully, though we don't know for sure, hopefully we'll get Lenny Rush back in at some point as well.
Yeah, I think he's
'Cause
brilliant.
he's fun.
Mm.
He has some funny lines.
Yeah.
Like the bit when they like even the Prime Minister doesn't have clearance to come in here. So especially the Prime
Yeah,
Minister.
especially the Prime Minister. Yeah, I love that bit.
Uh, yeah. Funny guy. Um, Bonnie Langford as well.
Mhm.
Lovely Mel.
Yeah.
Uh, she's definitely different to how she was in the 80s, isn't she?
Oh, she's less screamy. Mm.
She's like
She's less
1980s
screamy.
Mel would have fucking shat her pants at the sight of
But
the
also,
death of
can we
Susan
talk about the
Twist.
fact again, we're going off topic from the scene we are actually supposed to be discussing, but
Well, we're past that scene for Mel.
this was the perfect cliffhanger to have a classic Bonnie Langford scream.
It would have been, yeah, it would have been.
Yeah,
You're right.
like, going into
Uh,
the end, like, the music, like yeah. Oh,
like,
well,
"Yeah,
missed opportunity,
yeah,
missed
wee,
opportunity.
wee, wee, wee." That was the scream turning into the Doctor Who theme. I don't
Yeah,
think I did it very well.
sure, yeah.
Sure.
Mhm.
Alright, you keep
Sure.
telling yourself.
Sorry, yeah. Ooh,
Proper Terror of the Vervoids
yeah.
cliffhanger. I love the fact that they got her to scream in a certain pitch to
Yeah,
blend
to
with the
match
theme,
it.
and I love the fact that because Bonnie Langford's a talented singer, she could do
Yeah,
do it. F minor, please,
no
Bond, please.
problem, no problem.
No hearts.
Right, so we're in Unit Tower. Doctor needs help. Susan Triad is everywhere. She's on magazines. She's aliens. She's an ambulance. She's a portrait.
Mm, she
She is
is, yes,
everywhere.
she's everywhere. And also, apparently, according to the pre-title scene, she's Susan Foreman as well.
Right, okay. Did I think that all of my theories had come true in one episode? Yes, I did.
She's Susan Foreman,
I thought, oh
she's
my god, it's
Omega,
her.
she's Sutekh, she's Tripper, she's all of them.
She could be. We're only
I mean,
halfway
I
through.
don't actually know exactly what,
Precisely.
so you're not wrong. I'm still in the stance of I hope she's not Susan Foreman because I wanna see Carol Ann Ford
Oh, okay. Well,
back.
I think okay. I think
Okay.
if that makes you feel better.
Mm. I mean, she is, messenger of Sutekh, isn't she? Or whatever you wanna
Yeah,
call her.
precisely.
She brings Sutekh's gift of stinky breath
She
to
does.
all of humanity.
God, she does. There was something just after the
Mhm.
opening credits, the opening theme, um,
Yeah.
and Kate's talking, evil geniuses,
Mhm.
and of course they notice Susan Triad because that's what they do. And
Mhm.
she said something about evil geniuses using alien software, and that's what they do. They stop them, and then she said, "Except for the obvious." And Morris said, "We'll get him
Oh,
one day. We will get him one day." And I am I being stupid, or do we actually not know?
Elon Musk joke, I think.
It was. Do you actually think it was? That's what you
That's
interpreted
what
it
I
as?
thought it was. That's how I interpreted
Okay.
it. I mean, they took the piss out of Sunak and take the piss out of Musk. Uh,
Yeah. And we
Anyways,
should.
and we should. It's during that scene that Ruby gets to learn about regeneration,
Yes, it
and
is.
something that's pricked a lot of ears, um, is when the Doctor explains why Time Lords regenerate. He's like, sometimes it's to save them from dying, and
Mhm.
sometimes it's so they can hide away.
Yes.
And then a little bit later on, Mrs. Blood
Mhm.
appears,
AKA
and
Susan.
she says something like, I'm just hiding away," or she says something
Mhm.
like that. "I just like to hide myself away," she says something like that. And a lot
Yeah.
of people are connecting the 2 dots together.
Well, because she is Susan. That's the new theory.
I mean, I'm getting the vibe that she is a Time Lord.
She's Susan.
She
Well,
can't I don't think
we
she's
already
Susan.
had the line in the Church of Ruby Road where she was like, "Never seen a TARDIS." So she's
Well,
definitely a
all
Time
Time
Lord.
Lords know, yeah. Though don't think she's Susan because she committed a terrible crime in this episode, and she's obviously too evil to be
But
Susan.
right, okay, what crime did she commit?
She refused to make Cherry her cup of tea.
Right, okay. But that's the thing, I think she's been very ominous, but I don't think we can say that she's evil, because she's
Mm.
not done
It's tricky to
anything.
interpret. Yeah, she hasn't done
Yeah,
anything.
so
Uh,
she's been very ominous, but I don't think she's done anything, like, there's nothing. She's been a bit creepy, but I'm not automatically translating that as evil.
she does another look into the camera
Mm,
in this one, but this
you think so
when it
more?
happened, it felt so much creepier than never
Mm,
seen a TARDIS before,
yeah,
where she's a bit cheeky in that initial one. And she almost doesn't she doesn't wink, but you could feel like she'd wink,
mm.
kind of vibe. But in this one, it's like Anita Dobson's piercing gaze, and me sitting on the sofa just go, "Whoa, calm down, Anita."
She's looking at you and you alone.
It felt like that. It's that kind of
Yeah.
look. It was really creepy, So yeah, I guess it's cool. I'm feeling
Yeah.
she's gonna be a less friendly character than uh
But can I just
than a friendly one.
say, my theory from the beginning of this, Susan is in her
This isn't a
Valiard
game of
era.
chess, Jamie.
It is. I've got to do this.
Alright. Okay, Valley Susan.
Maybe
That's your
Mrs.
call.
Flood is. Well, no, because I don't actually think she's evil. I think she's just a bit of a creep. But if she is evil, then that is my theory.
Well, either way, I don't think we're gonna find out more about her in
This
this
series.
series.
No.
I think, like Russell said,
Slow
she's a slow
burn.
burner.
Yeah.
Slow burner. Uh, so yeah, we don't have much of her to talk about anyway. It's just that
No.
little fun
A
little
little bit.
scene, not making Cherry her cup of tea that she's rightfully entitled
I
to.
love that bit. Her smile, I thought it was so funny. Like, "I've got you now. Make me a cup of tea."
You think that's how they'll stop Sutekh in the next episode is
Maybe.
by finally the key was always there, it was cherries on there, a cup of
Very
tea.
nice.
I mean, it would subvert expectations, definitely.
Yeah.
Anyway, what are we thinking of Susan Twist, the Susan Triad, uh, in this episode?
Um, hmm. Um, I I don't know. I don't know. I
I
sort
couldn't
of I
tell if
did
that was you cutting out or if that
no,
was
that
just
was
you being
me.
indecisive.
Yeah, that was me not knowing what to say.
Ah,
Um, I don't know. Things definitely didn't go the way that I expected things to go with her.
didn't
Um,
expect her to be an undead
well, no,
zombie.
but I expected her to be more conscious of what she was, which she obviously wasn't.
Oh,
She didn't
wow.
know that she was evil.
No, that can be said for all the iterations of Susan Triads. They've
Mm,
all seemed to be very much in their own little worlds.
yeah.
Some of them even had lives and kids and died.
Mm,
So is we're still not sure what she is, but it's interesting that they are definitely connected. Like she remembers in from dreams.
yes.
Uh, we're not sure if she was.
Well, I'm leaning towards more of a he created her for this trap, and that's why the doctor keeps seeing her to like lure him in.
Yeah, could be Tillerman.
Mm,
We'll discuss. We have a lot of like theorizing to do and Sutekh stuff to talk about, though we'll have to save that for the end, won't we? Uh, one thing that I don't appreciate in regards to Susan Triad is that Russell reminds me of one of the cringiest moments in recent politics.
yes.
The fucking Theresa May dance.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
as uncomfortable as it was to watch the
do you
original.
think he watched it on the news? Do you think
Oh,
he watched it on the news
I
back
think he
in
saw it and he's kept it in his mind and thought, "Where can I put that in? Where who can dance like that?"
"Oh, I'm saving that for Doctor Who, I am."
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
get bloody Sutekh to dance in with that.
Oh god, the accents.
Sorry,
Oh.
had to be done.
Oh dear.
It's, but yeah, it's, she's fine, Susan Twist, and, she doesn't get, like, a lot of humour outside of the Theresa May thing,
Yeah.
and if I'm deeply honest, it's the Susan Triad stuff that I remember the least in this episode, like, the scenes with her,
Yeah. Mm.
because a
Well,
lot of
there's a lot
it's
going
just,
on.
"We're going to be doing a thing soon. Are you ready to do the things?" That's pretty much what's going on in her
Yeah.
department.
Mm.
And we were all like, "Things gonna be bad.
But
Something's
also,
gonna
like, did we
happen."
actually find out what the Susan Triad technology was that she was releasing?
There's a
Did we
new
actually
taxi booking app.
it's like it's a new thing that I want people to use every single day of the year, but what is it?
I think it was, software
Yeah, but
like
what?
Intel, Intel
Oh,
cores and all that stuff. I
oh,
think.
okay.
I could be wrong because Unit used
Well, we didn't get
Triad.
it explained.
It wasn't explained very well. That's
No.
true. Again, that's just because there's so much going on.
Yeah,
One
but I
thing
wanna
that's
know what
definite
would have happened if the doctor hadn't shown up and Sutekh had cut her off. I want to know what she was actually gonna say.
I
Like,
think
what was the
I think it would
product?
have been like if the doctor hadn't shown up, Sutekh would be a bit miffed. He'd be like, "Oh, come on.
Be like,
All of
"Come
this prep
on, come
for
on."
nothing."
Oh,
Never
dear.
happened. But he did show up, and
He did show
Sutex's
up.
plan
Well,
worked.
spoiler alert, he did show up. We've not even got
Did.
there yet. We've not even got to the time window.
I'm about to bring it up because it takes up a solid 15 minutes of the episode, the
Mhm.
time window sequence. It looks really good.
Mm, it
I
does.
love the way they sort of, like, made all the stuff like fuzzy VHS, like that
Mm,
effect
yeah,
with HD Shooty and Millie in the middle of it. Looks really cool. It's a
yeah,
nice set piece. The atmosphere in that whole scene is so tense and creepy because you're not actually sure if this is the moment where they reveal everything.
yeah.
Obviously, it isn't, but you get that tension. It's
Mm.
fucking wrung out like a wet towel. Really well acted by Shooty and Millie.
Yeah, no, it was a really good scene.
And they have the Manchester guy who is just marked for death the second you see him. You're like, "You are going to die." Kate's like, "This is random soldier with a name.
From
Nice to meet you,
Manchester.
Doc. He's
Yeah.
from Manchester. We're giving you information about him so you can develop attachment and then be sad when he dies in 10 minutes."
So the time window bit is the bit where I have to theorize a bit
Okay.
because I actually so they're in the time window, they watch Ruby's
Mhm,
mum come away from the church, they watch the
mhm,
doctor land to save Ruby, and
mhm.
then something appears around the TARDIS or where the TARDIS was. Um,
Yeah, what if ours was.
so I actually don't think Ruby's mum has got anything to do with Sutekh.
I agree, actually.
I don't even know if we'll find out about Ruby's mum this series, unless Russell has said that we have. I'm not sure we will. Um, because I think in The Devil's Chord, where Maestro was saying, "How could he be there?" meaning
Yeah,
Sutekh, I think
yeah,
Sutekh was only there in 2004 because he was in
because
the
of the
time
TARDIS.
window. Because of the TARDIS. I don't think it's got
Yeah,
anything to do with Ruby's mum
I
at all.
agree. There's only one thing that connects the 2 together,
Mm,
and that's the pointing at the Doctor or the TARDIS, should
yeah.
I say. Oh,
Mhm.
I think she is pointing at Sutekh,
The thing is,
and
though,
is aware of Sutekh.
I don't think that happened. I'm sure she only pointed for the first in Space
Oh,
Babies.
yeah.
So, I don't even think
Yeah,
she
you're
was
right.
do you know what I mean? So, time's changing, so that still doesn't mean she has anything to do with Sutekh because it didn't happen like that originally.
Yeah. I mean
However,
mhm.
I do now have to jump to another part of the episode.
Hopping around like frogs
Um,
on crack.
so when they're scanning the VHS tape again,
Yeah.
and I think it's Kate is like, there's a second TARDIS or whatever from where it was originally. This is my theory. Are you ready? Are you ready
Second
for my
TARDIS,
theory?
yeah.
It's the memory TARDIS.
Oh.
So, because I'm thinking like the Doctor couldn't take the TARDIS back there a second time, but surely a memory TARDIS can land in a memory.
Yeah.
I think it's the memory TARDIS there. I think that's how it's all gonna come together with the new Tales of the TARDIS. I think the memory
Yeah.
TARDIS is there, and maybe that's what Ruby's mum was pointing at for some reason.
Maybe.
So it might
We
not
just
have
don't
anything to
know,
do with
yeah.
Sutekh at all.
It it might not, you're right.
Yeah,
I forgot
I'm
about the
ready
memory
for
TARDIS.
another one of my theories to come true, and that's the one I'm staking my
Well,
reputation on.
I think, we'll talk about the theories, in a bit.
I couldn't
Um,
help it.
well, we're nearly there
We're
because we
almost
got the time with a bit creepy, ominous, crazy death
there. Mhm.
that gets turned to sand.
Yeah.
Uh, Anakin Skywalker's worst nightmare.
Oh god.
Uh, I hate sand. It's dry and coarse, and it gets everywhere.
Oh my god. Oh god, stop.
Get Hayden Christensen's lawyers on the phone in a bit.
Oh god. Hmm.
But it's probably the best set piece of this episode.
Mm.
Uh, well, there's not too many set pieces. A lot of it is exposition and explaining and
Mm.
setting up things,
Yeah.
which you could expect from a Rusty Davis two-parter. A lot of
Mhm.
people were pretty pissed about it, but I'm like, I was kind of expecting
Yeah,
it
we're
to be
sort of
like that.
used to it.
We're used to it, us old veterans of Doctor Who.
Mhm. Thank you for the old. That was really necessary.
15 years ago,
Don't say such horrible things.
2008. It's the
Don't
last
say
time we did a series
oh
finale.
god,
I know, it's unbelievable.
sad.
Ah, um, anywho, we move on, we start to get things going wrong
Mhm,
properly, 'cause so we've got Kate and Nat analyzing the video and seeing the TARDIS. Do you
mhm.
wanna hear something really dumb, uh, from my perspective?
Go on.
For a minute, I thought the TARDIS had turned evil, like, the TARDIS was the villain.
I mean, yeah, I don't think that's that dumb.
Like, the TARDIS had gone bad, like, "I'm sick of you, Doctor. You've been messing around
I'm
thousands of
sick to
years.
bastard death of you.
I'm sick to bastard death of you. I'm getting my revenge." That's
I
what I
don't think
thought
it's
it was
that
for a hot
dumb.
minute.
I don't
I
think it's
think
that
it is dumb.
although
The
I
villain being an inanimate object is dumb.
yeah, but it's not an inanimate object, is it?
Well, it's
It's a living
sentient, but
thing.
it's a
It's a
bug.
woman. It's a
It's a
woman,
bug.
darling.
And, like, if you did that story, how would you go back to the status quo afterwards? Would the TARDIS be
Well, I
replaced by
mean,
another
they did it with
TARDIS?
Mr.
Or
Smith, didn't they?
but Mr. Smith isn't the
So
same as
don't
the
rule
TARDIS. He
it
was
out.
only
Don't
around for a
rule it
season
out.
before they pulled that trick,
Well, yeah,
you
but,
know?
Well, TARDIS has only been around for a season, season 1. That's why they did it.
Very good. Well done.
I'm making my own rules here.
You are. Well, so's Russell, so
Yeah, well,
not crime.
we're Oh,
Honestly, I think we should jump to the cliffhanger.
okay, yeah, I'm fine with that.
I'm fine with that because
I'm fine with that.
it does for us, I think it was a moment of great anticipation and excitement.
Yes.
We've talked about Sutekh so
Yeah.
much in this podcast, and then
And
online as well.
you thought I was clowning. Let's be honest.
No, no, Janey, I thought the Omega stuff was
Mhm.
clowning. In
Right.
terms of you,
It's not too late.
I was clowning for Sutekh as well.
Okay.
In fact, I've like a Doctor Who group chat, and just before the episode came out, I was like, "Right, final bets and who's gonna show up." My final bet is Sutekh.
So on Twitter, I literally posted something every hour,
I know.
and up until,
I
like,
saw.
even, like yeah, everyone saw. There are, like, 20 of them out there.
Everyone saw it.
Um, so even
There's
up to the beginning of the episode, I thought, "There's no way he's coming back." Like, I was really clowning, and I did that throughout the whole episode.
but I mean, this is a fascinating case because I think
Mhm.
it's the only case where the clowning has come true, like,
I
properly.
know.
Because it seems like we're not too surprised because the idea had been thrown around.
Yeah.
It felt a little bit like when John Sim came back as the Master, or
Mm.
that where you'd seen stuff about it already. But this is the only case where nothing leaked. There was
No.
no tabloid articles about Sutek's return. The only reason we had an inkling of it is because fans had been clowning in like Susan technology, Sutekh.
I also love the way that Russell's probably been sat at home for the last 6 weeks being like, "Huh, no one's gonna guess, like, this great big baddie coming back," and 6
Well,
weeks ago, people were like, "Oh,
actually,
Susan Tech, it's Sutekh, okay."
actually, I think Russell's party was a bit was blown.
Mm.
That's not a term,
Mm.
but like you
It's
know
not,
how
I know what you mean.
his you know how he likes his responses and like people's comments on Instagram. He likes most of them.
Mm, mm,
If you put a comment on one of his posts, he'll probably like it.
yeah.
Uh, but there were people who were putting comments on posts being like, "Oh, can't wait for Sutekh to come back," and he wasn't liking them.
Oh, really?
I think he was seeing them, he's like, "For fuck's sake, what's it?"
Oh, no, I love that. I love
I
how
mean,
he like, it was clever, but the way that people just got it. Susan Tech, Sutekh. Okay, cool.
I think he just underestimated how fans will look at the tiniest clues and be like, "Oh my god, it's this
Overanalyze
classic series villain."
everything. Yeah.
How many people thought the Battle of Ranskrev Kolos would have the
Mm.
Rani in it or some shit, you know? Uh, but I think in a way it's a shame we were too clever because it would have been crazy if no one had picked up on it
Well, you
and it
say
just
that,
came
it
out of
was
nowhere.
crazy for me because
It
the
was
whole
crazy enough,
episode
but it would have been even crazier if it had,
I
properly
honestly don't
taken
for
us
me
off guard.
personally, I was in such a state of disbelief that I was like, "Oh my god." So I first had well, we'd obviously spoken about it before, but the first time in the episode that I thought, "Oh my god, it's Sutekh," was in the time window when that thing appeared, because I was like, "Oh my god, it's red and black. That is Sutekh," because of his costume.
Oh my god, it's
Then
Dennis the Menace.
Oh god, do you know what I mean? I saw it and instantly I was like, "Oh my god, that's him." And then I was like, "Oh my god, no, it isn't him." And then I genuinely was like, at one point I was like, "Oh, it's Omega."
The
And then I
first
was like,
time I definitely caught on, if you're wondering, if you're talking
mm,
about that, the first time I definitely caught on it was gonna be like, this is gonna be Sutekh, is when you hear Gabriel Wolf.
yeah,
Like, he's in Susan Dryad's mind, you hear the voice
yeah,
and you're like, "That is unmistakably Gabriel Wolf."
yeah, definitely.
Uh,
Well, I
it's
would see,
great.
that's the thing, that's where I was, like, clowning because then we had that whole monologue, and we had the bit with Susan Triad where she was talking about her dreams, and she was like, "I've been in my dreams, I've been a robot, and in my dreams, I've been this and that." And then she was like, "And I've been on planets with orange skies," or something. And I was like, "Oh my god, Gallifrey, it's Omega." And then I was back to Sutex. So I was like a bloody yo-yo.
An intergalactic yo-yo, Joe.
I still can't believe it. I feel like I'm still in shock,
It is a bold
honestly.
move to bring
Yeah.
back a villain who hasn't been on screen for nearly 50 years.
Mm.
1975, I believe, The Pyramids of Mars came out. Uh,
Yeah.
it's been a it's been a topic of hot debate
Mhm.
or hot topic of debate in the
Mhm.
past few days. Some people are saying it's too obscure and
Some
it
people just don't
confuses
like fun
newcomers.
though. Well,
I don't think it's like I mean a lot of people have been saying it, like a big amount of people. And again, I'm about to attack
mm.
criticisms and be like, your opinion is invalid. Though it's not
Okay.
really an opinion, it's very much putting your voice in someone else's mouth and
Mm.
being like the newcomers won't like this. Well, you're not a newcomer, so you can't say what they will and won't like.
Does that mean that we're never gonna bring back a classic villain because the newcomers won't know who it is, ever?
I think it was more they were crossed because it was treated as a surprise, like a shock reveal.
Right.
Um, Although if it wasn't Sutekh, it
Mm.
would either be
Omega.
another obscure classic villain like Omega,
Mm.
or which the argument would be there again, or it would be like the Master or something, which we kind of all feel has been overused
Yeah.
in recent years,
Mm.
or it would be a brand new villain, of which would make no difference to the newcomers. It would
Mm.
be the same effect as a classic villain. So I don't think it's that. It was pretty much a problem. Uh, I haven't seen too many people complain about, "Oh, I don't know who this is."
Mm.
Um, and a
Also,
couple
I
of
just don't understand fans who only watch New Who. Like, particularly if you're in the UK, it's
or
free.
go and watch a TikTok explaining
Yeah. Go and,
like
like,
a
go
couple of
and do
minutes.
some or, like, read it on Wiki Who or whatever it is. You know, like, go
I
and do your
mean,
research.
for me, when I was in purely the New Who zone,
Mm.
pre-watching most of Classic Who, I was getting those, those monster books they used to do, back in the
Oh,
day?
yeah. Yeah, yeah.
And it was like an A to Z, and they would have classic series monsters in there,
Mm.
and so when the Sontarans appeared, I knew what was they were about because I'd read
Yeah,
about them in the book, or the Master, or the
yeah.
Silurians. Uh,
It's
so
just like,
it's
you don't have to go and watch, like, 25 years worth. Like, it takes one afternoon. Anyway, that's my
I
rant
don't
over.
think obviously, we haven't seen a lot of Sutekh yet. I
Mm.
don't think he's gonna be spending too much time in the next episode being like, "Remember when I tried to build a pyramid in a garden and you blew it up?
He's not Davros. He
Remember
doesn't need,
all
like, a
those
massive
dumb puzzles and
conversation.
remember all
Yeah.
those dumb puzzles in the pyramid?" Like a cheap escape room.
What did you think of the new redesign?
I'm not I'm not totally fond of it, I have to say,
Okay,
unfortunately. The biggest
okay.
gripe for me is the eyes being the
Not
wrong
being
color.
green, right.
It should be green, yeah.
But
I get they can't just have his like, at least unmasked. I
yeah,
get that they can't just have that look again because
it was
a
paper
sta
mache. Yeah.
it was a paper mache static mask, and you just can't do that on a high
Yeah.
budget Disney Plus thing. Uh, I am disappointed that he didn't come back with his mask because I think
Well,
it's his creepiest look,
I
and I can
so my
stand
thing is, I actually really liked it, but
yeah.
next episode, I think he will morph into a more traditional Sutekh look, where he's in sort of his robes and maybe a
Because
mask, and
yeah.
maybe it'll be a bit
Have you
tweaked,
ever seen
but
have you ever seen that anime Doctor Who video
yes,
online?
with the Daleks and the Cybermen, then he shows up randomly at the end.
That look that would have been so sick if he'd come back
Mm,
looking like that.
yeah.
Like more
I
like
think
that
it might
black cloud just
happen.
turned into that. I hope it does.
I do hope that he morphs into a more humanoid, sort of traditional look.
I think it's a bit more unnerving than the CGI dog, and I think more people will be creeped out by it,
Oh, yeah, it's definitely more
you know.
unnerving, but I do think the CGI, I thought it looked amazing. And, like, for a big reveal, I
For
liked
a
it.
big set piece. The main thing though is Gabriel Wolf is back to play Sutekh
Mm,
after nearly 50 years. He's
yeah.
in his 90s now.
It
He's 91,
God.
and he's back to play Sutekh.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant.
You can't beat that. That's great.
No,
I'm very
no, that
much
is
looking
brilliant.
forward to hearing him in the next episode. It's like I think he's the first villain,
Mm,
like, to come back from the classic series who's played by the original actor. I'm happy, like, when you think about it, it was a long time ago when he
mm,
played Sutekh in the show, and that the fact that he's back now on BBC One on primetime television, it's not you're not gonna be able to do that, like, you pull that stunt forever. I hate to say it, to get
mm,
someone from that era of Doctor Who into the
yeah,
modern show,
mm,
there's only so many times you'll be able to do that before it's all history.
yeah,
So I think we should definitely savor it, having
mm,
characters like that coming in, you know?
yeah. No, it is
That's
cool.
that's my one big thought for everyone to think about.
Mm,
Uh, but he's got us all excited for next episode. We're all gonna be sitting,
yes,
me in the cinema,
me at home.
me at home, gashing over Sutekh.
Yeah.
And I don't think the fans have ever felt more vindicated than that. No leaks, no sneak
No,
previews. It was purely from mad, batshit, crazy
none of us thought was
fan
actually going
theories,
to happen, but it did.
but it did. Too tech,
Sorry,
too
Russell.
tech. He's gonna have to try harder next time.
Yeah, well, it was very weak.
But yeah,
No,
I feel
very
like
good.
that's all we can say on this part 1. Uh, we aren't gonna give it a score
We're
this week.
not gonna
There's
give
no
it a
unanimous
score.
decision because 'cause we'll do that next week after Empire of Death.
Mhm.
Uh, we might do a little series retrospective as well,
Yeah,
just have a little overview of our rankings and if we've
mhm.
changed our minds in some of them, things like that, or how we felt like the series performed overall.
Yeah,
So yeah, we'll be doing that next time.
we will.
We shall. Uh, is there anything else you want to add, Janie?
I think we've got time for a little theory.
I think we do.
So you will have seen on my Twitter over the past few days, I've put a theory out there which has actually got almost 100,000 views. Thank you.
Oh yes,
Breaking
yes,
the internet, breaking the internet.
you have.
Um, and my theory is
Sorry.
that my theory is that the reason we've had so many crash landings this series is because the TARDIS has had a great big dog clung to the side of it. And
Yes.
I'm even prepared to theorize that Sutekh has been somehow attached to the TARDIS since the end of the Pyramids of Mars, and either something has
You
happened.
think he's been sitting on
I
top of the
think,
TARDIS since
not
Pyramids of
necessarily
Mars?
sitting on top of it as a dog, but a remnant of him
Oh, I
has been
hope it was
attached to the
though.
TARDIS, has been
Imagine
attached
like
to
Janie. Imagine if in Flesh and Stone that awkward scene where Amy kisses the Doctor, he's just sitting
Oh
up the
god, he's
top of the
just sitting,
TARDIS looking
like,
down.
cross-legged, like, "Oh,
What the
Jesus."
fuck is going on? You know?
I think I can make a case for that. Next week, when it's revealed that actually when he died at the end of the Pyramids of Mars and he clung onto the TARDIS in a sort of very Harry Potter Horcruxy sort of way, and somehow he's either now regained the energy to be his own entity again, or something has happened to bring him back properly. I think that's what's happened.
I
That's
mean,
my
I'm not sure
theory.
when he clinged onto the TARDIS,
The
if it
end of
was
Pyramids of Mars.
at the end, because he died in a time tunnel, or seemingly.
Yes.
So I think it could easily be that he ended up stuck in the vortex and he eventually
Yeah,
managed to grab
maybe.
hold of the TARDIS at some point, and that's
Yeah.
how he's gotten away, how he's back.
Or he when he died, part of him, like, clung on to the only sort of alien technology about, because he is an alien, and has
He
been sort
is
of somehow embedded in the TARDIS since,
a
regaining
tiny
power.
flake of paper mache
Yeah,
managed to get
like
out.
yeah, I think, you know what? I think I've got a good case there. I
There is
genuinely
just
do.
one thing that
Oh
I you
god,
have
what
reminded
is
me of
it?
to bring up,
Yeah,
and that is the fact that he isn't a siren, he's an
yes,
alien. How
mhm.
did he end up being with all the other gods who are
Yeah,
not from our
a
universe
lot
and
of
not from an
people
established place and
a
time?
lot of people have had a problem with this,
Mhm.
and I don't know if it's like Russell has just decided that actually it makes more sense for him to be a
He's
god.
retconned it. Um, my theory, my headcanon, is that he did just start off as a really powerful alien, but he did get so bad that he practically was up there with the gods, and
Yeah.
he sort of made himself into, like he got up into their ranks
Yeah, I think that's more like, and I think that's a better idea,
because they
is
all
that he
fear
just,
him,
yeah, I
all
think
the
he
gods,
just became so powerful that now he just calls himself a god, because he basically is.
and the gods aren't willing to be like, "No, you're not a god."
Yeah, get
So
out
they're
of our
just
club.
nah, they're too scared. They're just gonna be like, "Okay, okay, okay."
Yeah, okay, whatever.
So, yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway,
well,
I
there we
think
go
we're
then.
gonna have to sign off on this
Yeah.
episode. Join us next time where we'll, review Empire of Death, we'll do the final ranking, we'll do our series retrospective,
Yeah.
and you'll find out about the future of Adric cast as well, I
Oh,
think, probably.
yeah. Am I out of a job?
Yes, I've
Uh,
managed to get a couple of people in. We've got Michael Caine, um, we've got Andy Murray from tennis, he's wanting
oh,
to
no.
come and do some Adric cast.
Oh,
I'm trying to think of other famous celebrities who've said yes, there've been so many.
it's
I'm
fine. I
trying
won't make a scene. I'll go
well, I
quietly.
guess go quiet. Sally Phillips, she said yes.
Nice.
No.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, join us next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye-bye.